and we are back for top 16 of round 3 at Sturup Raceway. We're gonna start things off with a crazy battle, and that will be Reese Tatterson, #1 qualifier, and Isho Fever, previous VDC Championship winner. Reese again will lead first, and Isho will give chase. Reese in the S15, Isho in the E36. Playing little friendly games at the line there. Alright. And Reese making a nice smooth manji to enter on down the hill. Flying. Isho's right there on his door though. And on his bumper as they make the transition across inside clip 2. And both of them riding the wall to finish it out. A good solid start to top 16. Alright, and they are off. Isho up front. Finally rocking a new livery as they manji in. Isho getting all the way out there. Reese really diving in on that inside clip. They transition. Reese giving him a little bump, and another one is going to put him into the wall. And I believe that is going to be it. Well, here's Chris. Let's see.
Joys of having a judges stream is that we also get to see like pedal lap and things, so we get to see more clearly XL decels. On that one, it's a case of Isho decels where he should be, so just after transition coming into the inside clip and is then getting back on power, and Reese I think just thinks Isho is going to go a bit quicker into there than he does and just charges that bit too early, so the contact there, it's fault with the fault for the contact is with Reese, as Isho was decelerating where he should have been and then goes to get on power, and then it's as he gets back on power and starts to move forward, Reese has just carried a bit too much speed through the inside, so the win there goes to Isho.
Isho is going to take the win and move on. Jack Powell and Tikhon Pileski are next. #8 qualifier and #9 qualifier. Jack Powell leading out front in his new Z4. Tikhon Pileski, our championship points leader right now, giving chase in his S14 as they enter in on down the hill. And look at Tikhon really putting it right next to him through the whole course so far as they transition for the second inside clip and to the wall. Tikhon not giving up any room whatsoever as they finish out the course. Alright, and they are off. Tikhon now leading in his S14. They come up the hill. Rotate on in, and Tikhon really leaving a gap on Jack here as they come into the second inside clip nice and tight, but Jack does wash out and give the wall a little bit of a tap and has to correct. So huge advantage to Tikhon out there in lead, and then just killed it on chase as well.
We went back and checked the replay there because that did seem like a very sudden gap that Tikhon got, and we've all concurred that we're going to go one more time there because what Tikhon did we feel is just unacceptable. The whole point of it being a 50 all around that corner is that the lead car comes into that corner at 50 miles an hour or as close to as they can, maintains it within a couple of miles an hour under, and then accelerates at the end of it. Whereas Tikhon comes in at about 40 miles an hour and slowly rolls onto throttle the whole way, gaining grip, gaining grip, gaining grip, and then as soon as he's into the full XL, he's absolutely hard on throttle and has disappeared, which defeats the purpose entirely of having a drift battle and also having a 50 roll. So for that reason, we're giving it as a one more time. We would like to see it run again, please.
We'll run it one more time. Jack is now out front in his Z4. Make an aggressive flick entry all the way down the hill. Does drop 2 tires outside of that outside zone though, but gets it back together. does miss out on that inside clip a tad there, but look at T-Con right there on his door, just almost pushing him around the track. So very similar to what we had in the first battle. We will now switch things up. We're going to bring him back to the line for the second half of the battle. Right, here they come around the corner. There we go. Now they're off flying down the hill as T-Con, making a nice transition. Jack throwing it backwards there in chase. As they come around that second inside clip, T-Con putting it all the way out to the wall. Jack trying to reel him back in, but just can't do it. And T-Con is going to get the win and move on to face Isho Fever in the top 8. Let's see, is our next battle. It's going to be, Sam Sheffield and Tyler Nelson. Tyler leading as he qualified 20th, and Sam qualified 29th. Right, and they are off. Again, Tyler up front in the Mustang. Sam Sheffield in chase in the Driftworks 86. Tyler burning them down to get going as he throws it down the hill real nice and smooth. Sam doing really good in chase though as he dives in for the inside clip. Tyler's going to wash out a little bit and then reel it back in to make a little bit of a weird line, but Sam does a good job not to run into him. Again, Sam now out front. That V8 powered 8.6. All right, and they are off. They're making a nice manji. Whoa! Angles out big time down the hill. I don't know if there was any contact. It didn't seem like it. Oh, and Sam gives him a little boot in the rear and spins him around. So this looks like it might be another little waiting game, as the judges will certainly have to go over replays for this one and see what in the world went on there. Sam is going to get the win and move on against Tyler Nelson. Okay, so yeah, what they're explaining in Discord a little bit is that judges saw it that Tyler actually hit Sam on the entry there, and that's what caused Sam to rotate on down the hill. But that's all right. We'll keep things rolling. Kyle Woods and Abdulaziz Al Harbi. Kyle Woods up front. Abdulaziz giving chase. As they swing it in. And look at Abdulaziz right there on Kyle's door as they come down the hill. Does leave a little bit of room there as they come across that first inside clip. But here's Abdulaziz reeling him right back in up against the wall and finishing it out. Solid start to this battle. We'll switch it up. Abdulaziz is now out front. Again, Abdulaziz now out front in the 350Z. Kyle trying not to give him any room on the entry as they come in. Abdulaziz has to come out of throttle just a little bit and choke up, trying not to go off course there on that second outside zone. Here they are along the wall, and Kyle just staying right there with him, puts it right there on his door. Finishes it out with a little 360. Oh, here's Abdulaziz trying the same. Good. Kyle Woods will move on to face Sam Sheffield in the grade 8. Jake Wise and Jonathan Simpson are are up. Jake leading as he qualified second today. Jonathan Simpson qualifying 18th. Here they come up the hill. Jake making a nice Manji entry. Smooth on down the hill and through that first or second outside zone. Does kind of cut the track a little bit, and Jonathan washes off on a weird line, and so does Jake, almost hitting the wall there. Has to make a big correction. And then there's Jonathan right there on the store giving him a little tap at the end of the run. We have Jake Wise and Jonathan Simpson switching things up. Jonathan will now lead in the Subaru, and Jake will give chase. Big Rocket Bunny 350. Here they come up the hill. A little late entry there from Jonathan out front as they transition down the hill, but Jake giving him a couple of bumps here and there as they come across that first inside clip. And finishing it out strong is Jake. And Jonathan is going to take the win and move on. And next we have Adriel Mikado. And Pontus Jacobson. Pontus in the SRX7 in chase. Mikado up front in the Chevette as he throws it down the hill. And look at Pontus reeling him down, or reeling him in. Oh no, and it's going to give him a bump and send him flying off course. Well, that's certainly unfortunate to see there as a start to the battle. Pontus will now lead in his SRX7 James Dean replica car. Alright, and judges have sent him off, as you can see. Here they come up the hill. Pontus is going to go for that smooth Manji into it. Going deep into both outside zones there. Mikado trying to reel him back in. Oh, he does. He really sacrificed an angle. But reels him in to finish out the run. So we'll see which way the judges go. Oh, and we're going to get it very quickly.
To Pontus, as we feel it's the contact there is obviously with the fault there goes to Adriel. It's a mixture for me of, it's not high ping, but it's high enough where it can be a bit jumpy, and also the contact does happen slightly after the decel. And Pontus, you can see, is hard on the brakes. After he'd already deceled 4 in his usual way and was then hard on the brakes again to try and not hit Adriel, and Adriel just unfortunately didn't start accelerating. So contact is at fault to Adriel, and then it's 10-0 Pontus. In the reverse roll, Pontus puts down a really good lead, and Adriel does a solid job of chasing him, but overall it does obviously go to Pontus.
Alright, so as you heard it from Chris, Pontus will move on. Just bring it up just for a quick second to show what he's referring to, as the decel zone is pretty much before and barely inside of that outside zone as you come down the hill. We'll go back to our current battle with Brandon Williams and Kevin Stump. Brandon Williams out front, qualifying third. Kevin Stump giving chase in the Mustang. As Brandon throws it down the hill really nice and smooth. Good lead out front so far. Kevin making the transition and the dive down in. Trying to reel him in for the wall. Oh, does start to pull him in just a tad bit more as well. A good solid run. Super clean lead out front. Kevin had a couple of little hiccups here and there as they came down the hill. But he certainly got it together for the inside clips and that last wall. Kevin Stump again now out front. Brandon Williams giving chase. Kevin slinging it down the hill, leaving a huge gap in between. As he's smooth through the inside clip. Here he comes for the second one. Real nice and tight as he comes out to the wall. leaving Brandon just a little bit as well. But again, nice, solid battle from both drivers here. And Brandon is going to get the win and move on to the Great 8. Next we have Alan Hines and Lazam. Alan Hines will lead as he was the 6th qualifier today. Lazam will give chase in his GTR. There they are waiting at the line. Right. And they are off. Allen again up front. Lazam giving chase. Allen's going to make his smooth, small little flick into it. Lazam right there with him as he transitions down the hill. Does give up a little bit of the line and is going to wash out after the second inside clip. He does have to correct and get his line back together there in chase, but a really solid lead from Allen out front. Alright, and they are off for the second half of their battle. Lazam versus Alan Hines. Straight line approach from Lazam and leaving a bit of a gap on that entry as well, but look at Allen reeling him right back in with the quickness right through both inside clips, and here he is right there on his door to finish out the run and giving a little bit of... Alan Hines is going to get the win and move on to the Great 8. It's going to be Tikhon Pileski and Isho Fever. Tikhon to lead first as he was 9th qualifier today. Isho being the 16th qualifier today. Right, and flying down the hill as both drivers. Tikhon leaving a little bit of a gap there on that entry, but Isho reeling him back in down the hill, and here he is. And Tikhon starting to pull away. And there's Isho sacrificing the angle that he has to pull him back. A good, solid start. Alright, and they are off. Isho now out front, and the E36, Tikhon giving chase in the S14. There they are entering on down the hill. Tikhon right there. Sacrifice. Oh no, honestly, he kind of sort of took the correct line there as Isho washes out just a tad for both inside clips there. And Tikhon just really putting on the pressure. It's going to be a win for Tikhon, and he'll move on to the final 4. Next, we've got Sam Sheffield and Kyle Woods. Alright, and they are off. Kyle Woods and Sam Sheffield. Again, Kyle out front. As he makes a nice transition down the hill. Sam right there in chase though. They'll dive through the second inside clip along the wall, and Sam is just right there putting on the pressure. Good finish to the first half of the battle. Right, switching things up. Sam now out front. Sam flicking it in. Nice and tight to those outside zones and across that first inside clip. Really making a dive down to the second one though. But look at Kyle right there, giving him a little bump on his door and reeling him in and finishing the run out. Good solid battle from both of them. As Kyle Woods is going to get the win and move on. Our 5th qualifier today, he'll move on to face Tikhon Pileski. You can still make your final predictions. Although it's a little cheap. Might not even let you. Who knows? Here we go. Pontus out front. Jonathan putting it right there on his bumper coming down the hill, but does make some bobbles a little late on the transition as well, but he does make it work anyway. And, oh no, and he surges too hard, gets too much on the brakes, and pretty much brings the car to a stop. Here they are through the rolling part of the course. Making a nice, smooth little manji there into it. Pontus, whoa! Pontus surging too hard. And pretty much knocking Jonathan out of the way there. Is that what happened?
As far as we can see from our replays, it was done. The engine just bogged on him. So it's you didn't touch him. It was just that sucks.
Like he's disappeared.
Pontus takes the win. Yeah. Oh.
All right, and there you have it from our judge Chris. And Pontus will move on, taking the win over Jonathan Simpson. Now we have Brandon Williams and Alan Hines. Brandon qualifying 3rd and Alan qualifying 6th. So fairly even on the qualifying side of things. And here they come. Throwing it in. Nice good angle from the lead car out front. Whoa, goes a little too wide there. And it's going to miss that first inside clip, but does get it back together. And look at Alan right there on his door. Clipping his car. Please, as we refresh the Facebook page and you'll see it. And here they are entering in. Flying down the hill is Alan, leaving a little bit of a gap there. And there's Brandon cutting across that inside clip and reeling him back in, but just not as close as Alan was. And Alan having an almost perfect lead out front. I don't think is going to be enough for Brandon to get the win there.
Unfortunately, okay, I'll just go through it run by run. So the first run, Alan was caught sort of sleeping out of the gate. Brandon was on a really good run, and then unfortunately drops the tyre on 3 and caused himself to wash out, which lets Alan get back into the battle again. So for me, that battle, I put that one down as 5-5 because it was just, it was once Brandon had then got back on and then got back, misses the inside, but then gets back on the cliff and then is fine for the rest of the run. So for me, it was a case of the reason why the gap was made up is a lot of that, I think, was to do with the mistake that Brandon makes. And then it was good driving on both people's part to then make a good battle out of it anyway. So I'd gone with 5-5. And then on the reverse roll, when Alan's leading, Alan goes around the roll perfectly fine, enters, it's all good. And then Brandon just isn't quite close enough, tries to make a bit of a dive, and unfortunately sort of straight lines over the first inside clip, dropping a tyre, which then knocks it over to me to be an advantage to Alan, and then overall it's just advantage Alan on the battle, so Alan just takes that one. But good battle, guys.
All right, and they are off. And this is a top 4 to finals. Thank you for everybody rejoining the stream. It sucks that we have to restart it like that. And there they are down the hill, and Tikhon right there on his door. But look at Kyle with almost just a perfect lead so far. They come through both inside clips nice and smooth and along the wall. And look at T-Con putting on the pressure on the Kyle. And they are off for the second half of the battle. Again, T-Con now out front. Kyle Woods giving chase. They'll enter in. Flying down the hill. Oh no, and T-Con goes off course a little bit and Kyle goes with him. Does a really good job of keeping it together. Both of the drivers there. T-Con washing a bit on that inside zone. Or clip, I should say. And finishing out the run strong. Kyle right there, not giving any room. Following everything the way he was supposed to. I think Kyle's going to get the win here. Yep. Kyle is going to get the win and move on. Both drivers are at the line, just waiting on judges to send them off. And they are off. And Allen out front. Pontus giving chase. Nice sweeping Manji. As they come on down the hill, Pontus reeling him in, putting it right there on his door, scraping his bumper for the transition. Really applying the pressure to Allen right here along the wall and finishing the course. Now Pontus out front. Yeah, I guess y'all are right. It's like James Dean versus Alan Hines. Sorta. Not. But we'll pretend anyway, and here they come for the entry and down the hill. Oh no! And I can't. And they're gonna keep on going anyway. That was man, it happened so fast. I'm not really 100% sure. Honestly, I think it was a mistake by both.
I think it's a case of Pontus just enters a little bit wide, and then he's then off throttle, sort of deselling.
I would have gone off if you hit me there.
You did. You dropped about a tyre just as Alan hits you, so yeah, you were going well off there.
Yeah,
but yeah, obviously it's you admit that that's clearly your fault for contact. So third place shootout for you, sir.
Sorry for the call out of the Hamrick Pontus.
Alright, and they are off for the first half of the battle. This is, again, for third place. T-Con leading, Pontus giving chase. As they enter in. Transition on down the hill. Both making a smooth run, and Pontus rubbing his bumper there on the transition as he tries to reel him in a little bit, and he's going to finish out the run and give him a little tap. Pontus will now lead in that SRX7. Alright, and they are off for the second half of the battle. Again, Pontus leading, T-Con chasing. Get the count. Whoa, my goodness, T-Con really putting it on the door of Pontus as they transition for the inside clip. Bring it out to the wall. T-Con trying to reel him back in, and he's going to and put even more pressure on him to finish out the run. And it's a one more time. It's not something you can take away. Here we go. We're for the one more time battle between T-Con and Pontus as they come flying down the hill and make the transition. Pontus does wash maybe a tad there and chase. And here he comes reeling T-Con back in, who is running just a solid lead, but Pontus is again right there. There we go. Alright, second half of the one more time battle between Pontus Jacobson and T-Con Pileski. Here they come up the hill. Pontus making his nice smooth flick entry there. Look at T-Con right there on down the hill. Right there as they come through the first inside clip. Diving in for the second. Staying right there on his door throughout the wall. And he's going to reel him in even more.
Battle, great pair of runs. the only thing that we've really got to sort of separate them is just a tiny bit of contact on the first chase from Pontus, where Pontus just taps Tikon, punts him, and it's a fault there. Just goes with Pontus, so it's a slight mistake, but it's the only thing to separate the two. So because of that, Tikon takes the win. But that was a really good battle, guys.
Well, and there you have it from Chris, and our third place finisher is going to be Tikon. So he's gotten 2 second place finishes and a third place finish. So I believe he's going to keep his spot at the top. Alan could bring it in a little bit as he had a win in Atlanta. But anything could go. Here is the finals. Kyle Woods out front. Alan Hines giving chase. Here they'll throw it in for the entry. And Kyle throwing quite a bit of angle out. As they transition down the hill. Alan not giving up any room whatsoever as he reels him in across that second inside clip. And here they come into the wall. And Alan's just right there. Staying right with him. As they'll drive around for the second half of the battles. Kyle and the Quins 180 that you see there. There's Alan in his replicated IDC car. He drives in IDC and other events as well. They are off. Kyle already showing he doesn't want to give up any room as they come up the hill. He's going to enter right there with him. And down the hill. Transitioning across inside one. Kyle almost giving him a little bump there on his back bumper as they make the transition, and Alan losing a ton of angle there, but Kyle doing a really nice job to stay tucked behind him. So do we have a winner of round 3 here at Sturup Raceway? All right, we're waiting to see. Let's see.
Just, and I mean just, Kyle's win, because I felt that just couple of little bits of contact from Kyle and Chase didn't really do much, and then it was Alan just tapped the wall and straightened out a bit. However, the other 2 judges have said that they would like to see that one more time, please. So I have been outvoted one more time.
Well, goodness. So we'll bring him back to the line. Kyle will lead first. Alan is going to chase. Number 5 and number 6 qualifier today. So again, super evenly matched on the qualifying scores there. Right, here they come up the hill. One more time battle for the finals, and look at Alan throwing it right there on his door for the entry, and here they come back down the hill across both inside clips here. Kyle washing out a tad and missing that inside clip just a bit. And look at Alan right there just rubbing wheels as they finish the course. Only got one more half to the battle. Alan's going to lead now. Kyle's going to give chase. As we have 2 IDC Pro cars coming up the hill. Here we go. They're going to throw it in. Kyle reeling him in, giving him just enough space for the transition as they come across first inside clip, second inside clip. Alan washes out again and misses it as well, just like Kyle. And Kyle's right there to finish out the run. Will we have another one more time?
For us, there is a unanimous decision. He's driving a Nissan. It's a Nissan Silvia. On work wheels, which again doesn't help either of you, but is Northern Irish. Kyle takes the win. It basically comes down to, as you said, Alan, you had a bit of a weird transition coming into the last corner through the insides, and then you just, because of that, you sort of wavered, and that was really it. It was up to that point, the chase to chase was damn near identical and was beautiful work from both of you, and then it's just, you had a little bit of that waver through the inside. Kyle then does his absolute damnedest to stay on your door as best he can, and then it's just a little bit of tit for tat on some contact with the wall and against each other. But it was just enough to tip the win there to Carl. But that was a fantastic battle. Great way to end it.
There you have it. Kyle Woods is going to take home the win of round 3 here at Sturup Raceway.